The silence in my apartment is deafening. 3 months ago, I would have killed for this kind of quiet. No more texts asking about my day. No more surprise visits with my favorite coffee. No more gentle knock on my door at exactly 7:30 every Friday night for our standing date. Back then, I called it suffocating. Now, I call it Tuesday. I'm sitting here in my 2-bedroom apartment in Phoenix, the one Ryan helped me move into last year. He spent 3 days assembling furniture, hanging pictures, making sure everything was perfect for me. I remember complaining the whole time about how he was doing it wrong, how the couch should go by the other wall, how the pictures were crooked. He just smiled and adjusted everything until I was satisfied. That was Ryan, always adjusting, always accommodating, always there. Until he wasn't. Everyone warned me. My sister Kelly said it first, about 6 months ago. We were having brunch at that overpriced place in Scottsdale I insisted on going to every Sunday, the one Ryan secretly hated but never complained about. "You know he's not going to wait forever, right?" she said, watching me send my eggs back for the 3rd time while Ryan sat quietly beside me. "What's that supposed to mean?" I asked, more focused on my phone than her words. Derek from work had been texting me all morning. Nothing serious, just friendly banter. Ryan didn't need to know about that. "I mean, the man worships the ground you walk on, and you treat him like he's lucky to breathe the same air as you." I laughed, actually laughed. "Please, Ryan's not going anywhere. He's obsessed with me." Kelly just shook her head and changed the subject. I should have listened, but let me back up. Ryan and I met 4 years ago at a mutual friend's wedding in Tucson. He was the best man, I was a bridesmaid. Cliché, I know, but from the moment he saw me, he was done for. I knew it, he knew it, everyone knew it. He spent the entire reception trying to work up the courage to talk to me. When he finally did, he was so nervous he spilled red wine on my dress. Most girls would have been furious. I was intrigued. Here was this successful software engineer, good-looking, clearly had his life together, and he was trembling, just trying to ask me to dance. The power felt intoxicating. Our early days were straight out of a romance novel. He pursued me with this single-minded determination that made me feel like a queen. Flowers showed up at my office every Monday. He learned to cook my favorite meals. He remembered every little thing I mentioned wanting, and somehow it would appear weeks later as a surprise. "You don't have to do all this," I told him once, about 6 months in. "I want to," he said simply. "You deserve to be spoiled." And I believed him. God, did I believe him. Somewhere along the way, his devotion stopped feeling special and started feeling like my due. When the flowers stopped being every Monday and became every other Monday, I pouted. When he couldn't make our Friday date because of a work emergency, I gave him the silent treatment for 3 days. When he bought me silver earrings instead of gold for my birthday because he forgot which I preferred, I actually cried and called him thoughtless. He apologized every time. Tried harder every time. Lost a little more of himself every time. The thing about having someone on a pedestal is that you start to resent them for looking up at you. Every time Ryan gazed at me with those adoring blue eyes, I felt this strange mix of power and contempt. How could someone so accomplished, so intelligent, so objectively great be so completely at my mercy? It made me respect him less, which made me treat him worse, which made him try harder, which made me respect him even less. It was a spiral I created and maintained with surgical precision. I started testing boundaries just to see how far I could push. I'd flirt openly with other men at parties, watching Ryan pretend not to notice. I'd cancel plans last minute to hang out with my girlfriends instead. I'd pick fights about nothing just to see him scramble to fix things. "Why do you put up with this?" my friend Megan asked once after witnessing me berate Ryan for buying the wrong brand of almond milk. "Put up with what?" I said. "He made a mistake." "I'm allowed to be upset." She just looked at me with this expression I couldn't quite read. Pity, maybe, or disappointment. The Derek situation started innocently enough. He was new to our marketing team, fresh from New York with this easy confidence that was so different from Ryan's earnest devotion. We worked late on a project together, grabbed drinks a few times. Nothing physical happened, but the emotional boundary was definitely crossed. I found myself comparing them constantly. Derek would never let me walk all over him the way Ryan did. Derek would challenge me. Derek would keep me on my toes. What I didn't realize was that Derek would also never drive 2 hours in the middle of the night to bring me soup when I was sick. Derek would never remember that I like my coffee with 2 sugars and just a splash of oat milk. Derek would never look at me like I was his whole world because to Derek, I was just another option. But I'm getting ahead of... No, actually, I'm right where I need to be in this story. The beginning of the end was my company's anniversary party 6 months ago. Black tie, open bar, the whole 9 yards. Ryan bought a new suit for the occasion, got a haircut, even wore the cologne I'd mentioned liking once in passing 2 years ago. He looked good, really good. Several of my coworkers commented on it, asked how I'd managed to land such a catch. The word catch irritated me, like I was lucky to have him, like I should be grateful. Derek was there too, naturally. We gravitated toward each other as the night wore on, sharing inside jokes about our colleagues, standing just a little too close, laughing just a little too loud. I was aware of Ryan watching from across the room, but I didn't care. Actually, that's not true. I did care. I wanted him to watch. I wanted him to feel threatened. I wanted him to fight for me. Instead, he just quietly appeared at my elbow around 11 and asked if I was ready to go home. "Already?" I said, making sure my voice carried. "But I'm having such a good time." Derek was just telling me about this amazing restaurant in Sedona we should check out. Weren't you, Derek? Derek had the grace to look uncomfortable. "Oh, yeah, it's supposed to have great views." "We should go," I said, looking at Derek instead of Ryan. "All of us, I mean. Make it a group thing." "Sure," Ryan said quietly. "That sounds nice." In the car on the way home, he was silent. Not angry silent, just defeated silent. I should have asked what was wrong. Should have apologized. Should have done something. Instead, I spent the entire ride texting Derek about how boring the party got after he left. 2 weeks later came the moment everything shifted, though I didn't recognize it at the time. It was a Friday night, 7:25. I was getting ready for our standing date, already annoyed because the dress I wanted to wear was at the dry cleaners, and my backup option made me look bloated. My phone buzzed. "Hey, running about 10 minutes late. Traffic is brutal. Can't wait to see you though. Love you." Something about that text set me off. Maybe it was the casual assumption that 10 minutes late was acceptable. Maybe it was my bad mood about the dress. Maybe it was the fact that Derek had been distant all week and I was projecting. Whatever it was, I decided Ryan needed to be taught a lesson about taking me for granted. When he knocked at 7:40, I didn't answer. He knocked again. "Babe? You there? I'm sorry I'm late." I sat on my couch, watching TV, letting him stand out there. My phone rang. I declined the call. "Rachel? Is everything okay? I can see your car, so I know you're home." More knocking. Another call. A text. "I'm worried. Please just let me know you're okay." After 20 minutes, I heard his footsteps walking away. I figured he'd be back. He'd probably gone to get flowers or something as an apology for being late. That would teach him to respect my time. An hour passed, then 2. No texts, no calls, no Ryan. Finally, I caved and texted him. "Where are you?" His response came immediately. "Home." "Home? What about our date? You made it pretty clear you didn't want to see me tonight." "I was just teaching you a lesson about being late." The 3 dots appeared and disappeared several times before his response came through. "I need to think about some things." "We should talk tomorrow." Tomorrow. He wanted to talk tomorrow. In 4 years, Ryan had never once delayed a conversation. If I was upset, he wanted to fix it immediately. If we needed to talk, he was at my door within minutes. Tomorrow was new territory. I didn't like it. I tried calling him. No answer. I sent a string of texts ranging from angry to apologetic to angry again. Nothing. The next morning, he was at my door at 9 sharp. He looked tired, like he hadn't slept. There was something different about his posture, the way he held himself. He looked resolved. "Come in," I said, suddenly nervous. "Do you want coffee?" "I can make some." "No, thanks. This won't take long." Won't take long? What wouldn't take long? He sat on the couch, the same spot where I'd ignored his knocks 12 hours earlier. I sat across from him, trying to read his face. "Rachel, I love you," he started, and I relaxed. This was going to be fine. He was going to apologize for overreacting. "But I can't do this anymore." "Wait, what?" "I've spent 4 years trying to be enough for you, trying to make you happy, but nothing I do is ever right. You don't respect me. Hell, I don't think you even like me most of the time." "That's not true," I said automatically, even though we both knew it kind of was. "You left me standing outside your door for 20 minutes because I was 10 minutes late, after I sat in traffic for an hour to come see you, after 4 years of showing up every single Friday without fail. I was just teaching me a lesson." "I know. You're always teaching me lessons. Like I'm a dog that needs to be trained instead of a person who loves you." His voice was calm, matter of fact. That scared me more than anger would have. "I've watched you flirt with other men in front of me. I've accepted being criticized and belittled. I've made excuses for your behavior to my friends and family. And last night, standing outside your door, I realized I'm done making excuses. Ryan, you're overreacting. I'm not overreacting. For once in our relationship, I'm having an appropriate reaction. I deserve better than this. We both know it." He stood up. I stayed frozen on the chair. "I hope you find what you're looking for, Rachel." "I really do. But it's not going to be with me." And then he left. Just left. No dramatic door slam, no tears, no begging for another chance. He just walked out of my apartment and out of my life with the same quiet dignity he'd shown for 4 years. I was stunned. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Ryan didn't leave. Ryan stayed. Ryan fought for us. Ryan loved me too much to walk away. I gave him 3 days to come to his senses. 3 days of silence that I filled with righteous indignation. How dare he abandon 4 years over one little incident? How dare he make me feel guilty for having standards? How dare he leave? On day 4, I cracked. I called him. "We need to talk about this like adults," I said when he answered. "We did talk." I said what I needed to say. "You can't just end a 4-year relationship over one fight." "It wasn't one fight, Rachel. It was 1,000 little cuts. Last night was just when I finally decided to stop bleeding." The metaphor was so unlike him, so poetic and final that it took my breath away. "So that's it? You're just giving up?" "I'm not giving up. I'm letting go. There's a difference." He hung up after that. I called back 17 times. He didn't answer once. The next few weeks were a blur of disbelief and anger. I told anyone who would listen about how Ryan had abandoned me out of nowhere, how he'd thrown away 4 years over nothing, how he was probably having some sort of early midlife crisis. Most people nodded sympathetically, but a few, the ones who really knew us, had different reactions. "Honestly, I'm surprised it took him this long," said my cousin Maria at a family dinner. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Come on, Rachel. You know exactly what it means. The man bent over backward for you and you treated him like garbage. Everyone could see it. I did not. You literally made him sleep in his car once because he forgot to record your show. That was... And remember when you threw his birthday cake in the trash because it was chocolate and you'd decided that week you preferred vanilla? He should have. And the time you made him miss his brother's graduation because you had a headache and needed him to take care of you? Each memory hit like a physical blow. Had I really done all those things? Yes, I had. And so much worse. I tried to salvage things, of course. Once the anger faded and the reality set in, I panicked. I sent long emails detailing how I would change. I had flowers delivered to his office. I even showed up at his apartment one night with his favorite takeout from that Thai place across town. His roommate answered the door. "He's not here, Rachel." "When will he be back?" "I think you should go." "Just tell me when—" "He met someone." The words hit me like a bucket of ice water. "What?" "When? It's only been a month. Her name's Amanda. They work together. She's really good for him." He smiles again. He smiles again. The implication being he hadn't smiled with me. Not in a long time. I drove home in a daze. Ryan had moved on, in a month. After 4 years of devotion to me, it had taken him exactly 30 days to find someone new. Number, not find. I learned later from mutual friends that Amanda had been there all along. A fellow engineer who'd apparently harbored feelings for Ryan for years, but respected that he was in a relationship. The second she heard he was single, she asked him to coffee, and Ryan, my Ryan, who had only ever had eyes for me, said yes. "She appreciates him," my friend Carla told me after running into them at a farmer's market. "Like, really appreciates him. Thanks him for little things, laughs at his nerdy jokes, looks at him like he's amazing." I looked at him like that, I protested. Carla's silence said everything. The social media posts started appearing about 2 months after our breakup. Nothing overt or directed at me. Ryan wasn't petty like that. Just pictures of him looking happier than I'd seen him in years. Him and Amanda hiking Camelback Mountain. The two of them at a Phoenix Suns game, both wearing matching jerseys. A candid shot of him cooking dinner while she sat at the counter, looking at him with unmistakable adoration. That last one gutted me. How many times had Ryan cooked for me while I sat at the counter, scrolling through my phone, barely acknowledging his efforts? The final blow came 6 months after he left. A save-the-date card arrived in my mail. "Ryan Fitzgerald and Amanda Chen cordially invite you to celebrate their wedding." 6 months. He'd known her for 6 months and he was marrying her. He'd known me for 4 years and never even brought up the possibility. I wasn't invited, of course. The save-the-date was a mistake, a leftover from an old mailing list. His mother called to apologize, clearly mortified. "I'm so sorry, dear." We updated the list but must have missed one. "I hope you understand." "Of course," I said, voice hollow. "I'm happy for him." "He really is happy," she said gently. "Happier than I've seen him in a long time. Amanda is, well, she's good for him, good to him." The emphasis on "to" wasn't lost on me. That was 3 months ago. The wedding is next month. I know because Kelly accidentally let it slip that she's going. Apparently, Amanda specifically reached out to invite her, said any friend of Ryan's is a friend of theirs. "She's not threatened by you at all," Kelly marveled. "Like, doesn't even see you as competition. She knows Ryan would never go back. Would never go back. To me. The woman he'd loved for 4 years. The woman he'd worshipped. The woman he'd built his entire world around." Derek asked me out last week. Finally. After months of flirting and anticipation, he finally made a move. We went to that Sedona restaurant he'd mentioned at the company party. It was everything I thought I wanted. Challenging conversation, electric chemistry, that constant push and pull that kept me on my toes. He spent half the dinner on his phone dealing with work emails. When I mentioned it bothered me, he laughed and said I was being too sensitive. When the check came, he suggested we split it since we make the same salary. When he dropped me off, he asked if I wanted to come up to his place, and when I said I wasn't ready for that yet, he seemed annoyed. "I thought we were on the same page here," he said. I need to take things slow." "Right. Well, let me know when you figure out what you want." He hasn't texted since. I lay in bed that night thinking about all the times Ryan had put his phone away the second we sat down to dinner. How he never let me pay for anything, not because he didn't think I could, but because treating me made him happy. How he waited 4 months before even trying to kiss me because he wanted to make sure I was comfortable. I thought about how he used to trace patterns on my back when he thought I was asleep. How he kept my favorite snacks stocked at his place, even though he was allergic to pistachios. How he learned to braid hair from YouTube tutorials, just so he could help me get ready for formal events. I thought about the last time I saw him, at Whole Foods 2 weeks ago. He was in the produce section, carefully selecting avocados. Amanda was with him, laughing at something on her phone. When she showed it to him, he laughed too, then kissed her forehead before returning to his avocado mission. He used to kiss my forehead like that. Usually when I was being difficult about something and he was trying to calm me down. I always rolled my eyes when he did it, told him I wasn't a child. Now I would give anything for one more forehead kiss, one more patient smile, one more chance to do better. But that's the thing about taking someone for granted. You don't realize what you've lost until it's gone, and you can't unwalk a path once someone's already left it. I see now what I couldn't see then. Every eye roll, every dismissed gesture, every moment I made him feel small. They all added up. I thought love meant he would endure anything. I thought devotion meant he would never leave. I thought his patience was weakness instead of strength. I was wrong about all of it. My apartment is quiet now. No surprise visits, no weekend breakfast deliveries, no one checking to make sure I got home safe after girls' night. I told myself I wanted space, wanted independence, wanted someone who wouldn't suffocate me with attention. Be careful what you wish for. Ryan's getting married next month to a woman who saw his worth immediately, a woman who thanks him for small gestures and celebrates his wins and looks at him like he's a gift instead of a given. A woman who understood in 6 months what I couldn't grasp in 4 years. That a good man's love is not a burden to bear, but a blessing to cherish. I had that blessing. I had it for 4 whole years. And I threw it away because I thought I deserved better than someone who loved me unconditionally. Turns out, unconditional love wasn't my problem. My problem was that I offered none in return. They say you don't know what you've got until it's gone, but that's not entirely true. I knew what I had. I just thought I'd always have it. I thought his love was a constant, like gravity or daylight, a fundamental force I could push against forever without consequence. But even gravity weakens with distance. Even the sun eventually sets. And Ryan? Ryan finally decided he deserved to be somebody's sunrise, not their safety net. He was right. I still have that save the date card. It's tucked in my jewelry box between a pair of earrings he gave me and a photo from our trip to San Diego. Sometimes I take it out and run my fingers over their names. Ryan and Amanda, Amanda and Ryan, future Mr. and Mrs. Fitzgerald. She'll take his last name. I know this because I know Ryan, and Ryan always dreamed of sharing a name with his wife. I used to tell him that was outdated and possessive. Now I think about how Amanda probably cried when he asked if she'd want to be a Fitzgerald, how she probably said yes before he even finished the question. My therapist says I need to forgive myself, that everyone makes mistakes in relationships, that the important thing is to learn and grow and do better next time. But what if there is no next time? What if Ryan was my person and I was too blind and selfish to see it? What if I spend the rest of my life dating Derek's? Men who challenge me and keep me guessing, and never make me feel like I'm their whole world because I'm not? Kelly came over last night with wine and tough love. She's good at both. You need to stop this, she said after finding me stalking Amanda's Instagram for the 100th time. Stop what? Torturing yourself. Ryan's moved on. He's happy. You need to accept that and move forward. How? How do I move forward knowing I destroyed the best thing in my life? By being better. By taking this lesson and applying it to the next relationship. By recognizing the patterns that got you here and breaking them. She's right, of course. But knowing something intellectually and accepting it emotionally are 2 different things. I'm trying, though. I deleted Derek's number. Started being nicer to the barista who always remembers my order. Thanked my assistant for staying late to help with a project. Small things, baby steps. The kind of gestures I used to dismiss as unnecessary. Ryan would be proud, or maybe he wouldn't think about it at all. Maybe I don't cross his mind anymore except as a cautionary tale, a reminder of what he doesn't want, a lesson in what love shouldn't look like. I hope Amanda knows how lucky she is. I hope she never takes his morning texts for granted. I hope she always laughs at his science puns. I hope she appreciates the way he remembers every little detail about the people he loves. I hope she thanks him for the small things and celebrates the big things, and never, ever makes him feel like his love is too much. I hope she loves him the way he loved me, the way he deserved to be loved all along. Last week I was cleaning out my closet and found the dress I wore to that company party 6 months ago. The one where I flirted with Derek while Ryan watched. The one that started the beginning of the end. I held it up, remembering how beautiful I felt that night. How powerful. How desired. I had 2 men's attention, my devoted boyfriend, and an exciting new prospect. I felt like I had all the options in the world. Now I have none. The dress went into the donation pile. My phone buzzes. For a split second, my heart races, thinking it might be Ryan. It's not, of course. It's never Ryan anymore. It's my mom asking if I'm coming to Sunday dinner. Yes, I text back. Table for 1. She sends back a heart emoji and doesn't comment on my self-deprecating joke. Everyone's gotten good at that. Not commenting, not pointing out the obvious, not stating what we all know. That I had everything and threw it away. The silence in my apartment isn't peaceful anymore. It's accusatory. It sounds like all the words I never said, all the thank yous and I love yous and I appreciate yous that got stuck in my throat because I was too proud, too stubborn, too stupid to voice them. It sounds like Ryan's footsteps walking away from my door for the last time. He used to say I was the love of his life. Said it often, actually. Over morning coffee and during commercial breaks, and whispered against my hair when he thought I was sleeping. I never said it back, not once. I thought it would give him too much power, thought it would make me vulnerable. Now I'm the vulnerable one. Alone in an apartment full of spaces where he used to be. Living a life that's technically fuller. I go out more, see friends more, have all the independence I claim to want. But it's emptier too. Like a glass that looks whole until you try to fill it and realize there's a crack at the bottom, letting everything good leak out. Ryan was right to leave. I see that now. He was right to want more than crumbs of affection from someone who should have given him the whole feast. He was right to walk away from a woman who saw his love as a cage instead of a castle. Most of all, he was right to choose himself. After 4 years of choosing me, of prioritizing my needs and wants and whims, he finally chose himself. And in doing so, he found someone who chooses him too. They say the opposite of love isn't hate. It's indifference. I used to think that was nonsense. How could indifference hurt more than active dislike? Now I know. Because Ryan doesn't hate me. He nothing me. I'm a chapter in his story that's been closed, a lesson learned, a path he no longer travels. He's indifferent to my pain because it's no longer his to soothe. He's moved on so completely that my existence doesn't even ripple the surface of his new life. And that's what I deserve. I spent 4 years treating his love like it was nothing special. Now I get to live with the truth I refused to face. To him, I'm exactly that, nothing special. The cruelest irony is that I finally understand what I lost. I can see now what everyone else saw then. A good man who loved me completely and asked for nothing in return, except basic kindness and respect, the bare minimum. And I couldn't even give him that. I thought he'd always chase me. I thought his love was guaranteed, a fixed point I could always return to no matter how far I wandered. I thought wrong. Some lessons you learn in time to fix things. Others you learn too late to do anything but regret. This is the second kind. Ryan's getting married next month. I'll probably spend that day alone in this too quiet apartment, thinking about what could have been if I'd been a better person. If I'd seen what was right in front of me. If I'd loved him even half as much as he loved me. But I didn't. And he walked. And somewhere in Phoenix, a man who used to look at me like I was his whole world is building a new world with someone else. Someone better. Someone who deserves him. The silence stretches on. No footsteps coming up the stairs. No key in the lock. No Ryan appearing with takeout and a smile, ready to forgive whatever fresh hurt I'd inflicted. Just me and the consequences of taking love for granted. Just me and the echo of footsteps walking away. Just me and the knowledge that I had everything and threw it away because I thought I deserved more. Turns out I deserved exactly what I gave. Nothing. And that's exactly what I have.